I'd like to welcome everyone tuning into this episode. Many of you now listening likely have a measure of personal freedom and liberty in your own lives, freedoms that the speaker you're about to hear from no longer enjoys. I do not say this to make anyone feel guilty, but to offer a reminder that we are very fortunate to have a degree of agency and safety in our lives that the upcoming guests, and everyone else in Myanmar these days, can only dream of. So after you hear their story, please consider how you may use your freedom to support or advocate on behalf of the Burmese people. Any action, no matter how small, counts. Now, let's hear what they have to say. On this episode of Insight Myanmar podcast, we're speaking to Lartar. She was born in a very remote village in Myanmar, but close to the Thai border. And we're going to learn about her journey, her life in that village, and then her journey out of it and the work that she's doing now, which I think listeners will find just as fascinating and relevant as I did when I learned about it. So I'm really delighted to be able to bring this voice to our wider international audience to learn more deeply about the rural village life and how this reflects the wider issues happening in Myanmar. So, Lartar, thank you for taking the time to sit down with us.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for inviting me to speak to the radio. I was born in 1983. It's in Gogri Township. It's in Burma. It's as long as I remember myself, I only remember we run away every time.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, I think I remember myself. I was about 3 years old. I remember only a few things where it's really hard, which is you don't forget. Like it's. I mean, my mom told me that they have been running so many places before, like when I was born, and they move around. But it's not in my memory. But the first time I remember, I was about 3 years old. One time we were running, I think it was May, it's really hot. And then my mom, she would deliver her baby for any day. She was pregnant, really big. And it's like 40-degree heat. Wow. And I was 3. I was really sick. And then I had a chicken pot at that time where you have a child, and then I had very high fever. We ran one place to another place, and then my dad wasn't with us. It's only my mom and me, my sister, and my cousin. And then my older brother, my mom cannot carry him anymore, and then she has to send him to the monastery. So the monk saved him to shave the hair and then to become the monk, because the military really trying to catch the whole family. Whenever they see they catch any of us, they will kill us all, like that. That's all I remember. And then we would run very far from the village in one of the farm. That lady know my mom, and she was saving our life. She said, come high, and she threw us all in the bunker. And then maybe 15 minutes later, military was so fast. That's why they train for, right? And then they arrived. At that time, we were so hungry. And then I remember one time they ate all my snack. That's, when you're childhood, you only care about your snack. And then they ate all my snack, and then I was really angry, and then I cried. And then they took away my snack, and then inside the bunker, and then I remember they pointed the gun to us. And I remember the gun was like mortar, the ball like it's called mortar, right? That one. So and then we were so scared. Like luckily that they are not shooting, and then they were just threatening, questioning my mom a lot, and they are searching for my dad. So the lady who saved us, she's very good lying, like talking and saving to us. And then I don't know what she's talking. And then the military took away her pig, her chicken, her goat, and they took away a lot of her animal just because of us. And so that's the first time I remember since like the childhood. And then afterward, just run every day, every night. Sometimes we run in one day 3 villages. And then my mom realized that living in the village is just because of us, and then we will affect other people. So we move away, so far away from other people. We live in the jungle, like on the mountain where there's no people around, and very far. And then just us, like childhood. And and then my mom, I remember that we had to cook at night. And then we cannot cook daytime when they see the smoke, and then they follow us. And then we are just eating the rice that we are cooking. Sorry. For the childhood, I would say that pretty much run around all the time until I was like 7 years old. Because my childhood, I wanted to go to school, but then we couldn't access any school so far, and then the only education you can access is like monastery school, where you can learn to read and write. There is no higher grade and so on. And I saw my brother and my sister, they went to monastery, and then I followed them. I was thinking, oh, that's nice to read and write, and then and then we are just running around, and then my older brother and my sister also didn't get to go to school properly. When I was 7 years old, my parents called us. That was, I remember pretty clear, because I was 7 years old already. So this is how our family life reality. So we have to decide what you guys want. It's pretty hard as 7 years old kid need to make a decision for your own life. And my mom said that to ask my brother and my sister if you want to go to school, or you want to work farming or running, to stay with the family. If you stay with the family, this is how you need to move around and get ready. You can never have things stable. You always need to move around. And then my mom asked me if I want to farming and to go to school. I said I want to go to school, and then they sent me to another village, very far. Like have to walk one day on the mountain, up and down, crossing river one to another. So I went to the village, and then I stayed there in the dormitory with other family member, which is a school also under the Korean village, but it's also run by the under KNU control area. So it's also many soldiers around there. So the area is pretty much like protected by the Korean Korean group. So we are very familiar with the soldier and the Korean soldier. I mean, like they come and because people are only educated is from there. So the villager they are not educated. So most of our teachers are the current soldier. Whenever they have part-time, they come and teach. So we don't have a teacher who will take care of us full-time like that. So I stayed there only 1 year. It's pretty tough life with our parents and living there. And sometimes the dormitory, we don't have no one support us. We don't have enough food and so on. Even though we are like 5-6 people, and we couldn't afford. And my parents are also cannot visit me because they are very far away, and with the river not accessible for rainy season, so it's very hard. And then in terms of food supply, and I have to move to stay with another family. Then when I can get enough food, and then I continue to the school. I stay there only 1 year, and then I go back to the village the next year, and then I attend the school inside the village. It happened again at nighttime at 2 a.m. I remember, and then the military came surrounded our house. And then I remember they were kicking me with a boot. And then they were shouting like, get out, go down. And then they kick us out. They want to search, looking for my dad. And then, we were living in the farm. We were going down. We sit on the ground. My mother has my little sister. And then with my younger brother and me. And my sister, my older brother, he's somewhere. He's not with us because he's a little bit older already. It's not safe for him to stay because whenever they see young men, they want to take for pota, to carry stuff. And my mom sent him to stay with somewhere else. And then I saw that they were pointing my mom with a pistol here. It's a silver pistol.
To her head.
Yeah, to my mom's head. And one here, one here.
And this is, you're pointing to your stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also my grandma at that time, she stayed alive. And she sit next to my mom. And then they questioned so many to my mom and so on. And then my mom just said that at that time, my father wasn't a soldier. He was just for the doing business, carrying fruit one place to another.
So why were they looking for him? You mentioned that you're running because everywhere you're running, they're looking for your father, for your father.
My dad was a KNU soldier at that time. He was the commander in the Kokore Township. He wasn't a main person under the KNU, but he was a battalion commander or something like that. I never asked him. So somehow he was quite well known, and then the military searching for him. And also we have an informer, like people who don't like my dad, they inform. So that's another reason. So the next morning, actually not next morning, after the military left, a few hours later, we move again. We run away. We left everything behind. We were growing farming and left everything. Just go to another place. Just like that. Moving one place to another. So I never finished the school, basically, like just running. I'm not able to finish the school at beginning of the year and the end of the year. It's basically just constantly running. And then I was about 12 years old. I decided I need to do something serious, like not coming back. And I closed my eyes and I just leave and not knowing what's happening with my family if I want to continue to go to school. And then I went to a very, I would say in Korean, stay in my area, quite big city, like quite big village. I would say town. It's called Chaidong. I went there and then I stayed with the commander of it's called KNDO. And I stay with the family. But it's again another a soldier family. And we stay there, but we don't need to move around very much because there is another military control area under the KNU. So we were safe there many years. And then I went to school there and I moved just I don't need to run from the military anymore when I was 12 to 14. So in the 1996, we were like, the military took over the whole border area. So like a lot of villagers oppressed from the one village to another to the border, and everyone fleeing, which is not, we don't know what's happening. We only hear later. And then at that time I was 14 years old, in 1996, and then I remember everything. And I was also studied to another village, and then my parents, we run away again at the border. We were hiding at the border area. When we go to Thai side, when Thai soldiers saw us, they kick us out, and then we run back to Myanmar side. When the military come nearby us, we run that side. So basically, running back for like 3 months in the jungle until UNHCR reach us out, and then they move us in the refugee camp. Yeah. So in the refugee camp, I didn't know that where my parents are, where my family are, because I run with another family. So in the camp, after 3-4 months, I was walking in the local market. I hear some voice, and then I found them at the market, and then we reunion at the refugee camp. So I finished my high school there in the refugee camp. The school run by the current education department, which is many NGO involved, like SOA and many other international NGO who focus on the education. So they are working with the current education department. So the school run by the current, and so I graduated the high school there. And then afterward, not knowing where to go, but then luckily that I have opportunity to join another English program, which is very rare. They only choose like the whole camp, only 3 people able to go. Oh. So I was very lucky. And then my mom didn't let me go because she thought that I'm teenager, like in our culture, it's a lot very common that a young woman who you go around alone, they were afraid of, like you get raped or whatever. So I didn't think about that part. And I only think about how I'm going to move on my future. At that time, I was already 16 years old. And then I ran away home because I don't want to give up. It's already a lot for me, like going to school, I have to sacrifice a lot. So I ran away home for 3 years, not coming back, because I went to English program and I got internship in Mesa. So I stayed there for 3 years until I go back and reach my family. It was very tough. The past 3 years is I just live whatever I find, because I'm already 16 years old, so I know where to get things around and so on, and to take care of myself. And after I finished the program, I went to Mesa for internship. I got an interview, and they took me because they are looking for a person who can speak 5 languages. So I'm not smart in the school, but in terms of the language, I'm pretty much useful than many other people. So I speak and read and write 5 languages.
Which 5? So
in the border area, at that time I was working for the Current History and Culture Preservation Society. They are looking for a person who can read and write, can translate 5 languages, like mostly can be Pokran, Sakoran, Burmese, Thai, English. So this kind of languages is very common at that time. I'm not expert, but I get to learn more, and I also don't speak that much English at that time, only small introduction and like that. And I was volunteer and doing intern and move on my life like teenager. It was running quite okay. It's not very smooth, but okay. And then I realized that I need to understand more. I need to understand more, and then I need to do more. At that time, I was already about 18, 19 years old. I need to learn more to do more. So I switched to migrant because in Mesa, there's so much to learn, you know. There's in the border area, it's not just like a political, people run from the conflict. People also facing with the economy zone, people get starving. There's a lot of going on there. I want to understand more, so I switch myself to get to understand more in migrant situation, not just refugee. So I become a 2 year teacher in one of the Korean school in Mesa, and I was teaching there, and I really like the job. And then in 2007, I got offered a job from NGO. They're very lucky. I was living illegal. I don't have any document at that time. I don't even know a human need the ID card. I didn't know.
I see.
Yeah, and when the police asked me the ID card, I said I don't have one. What ID card? Yeah, at that time I had they asked me a driving license card. I said I don't know. What are you asking? I don't have one. So then whenever I get that kind of question, and then I ask more work to what I need to get, you know, like. And then in 2008, that was the first time when I went back and get my ID and get my passport and get everything done. Was not very easy because in my village nobody have ID. No one
records.
care, no record, nobody care about ID.
So there's no birth certificates, no home ownership, no school registration, there's no schools,
Nothing.
Reference, nothing. Yeah.
There is a school, but it's not under the Myanmar government. It's under the Korean education department.
But no documentation of.
No, we have only the Korean are very easy, you know, like everyone know each other. If the village recognize you, that means that you belong to this place and things like that. So you only need to you don't even need a birth certificate. You only go there and the village prove that this person is born here.
Wow.
You just need a piece of paper. It's quite easy at that time. But when to get an ID card, it's very difficult for me because in the village, people are questioning the military, the officer question you why you want to have ID card. Because nobody have ID card. At that time, it was 2002. There's still a lot of fighting going on at the border. The military authorities was curious because our area is a black area.
I see.
So they don't want to see people who are educated. You know what I mean? Like they are so scared that people will come against them. So I can never say that I have graduated high school. That I only can tell that I graduated primary school and like that. So everybody pretty much found me there, and no one with smile has a white teeth. You know what I mean in the village. So people have to live like really a hair dry style. I have not brushed my teeth for 8 to 10 days before I went to the government office to get my ID, and they are checking my hand. If my hand has because everyone found me, you can touch their hand has a lot of damage here, and I have to work 9 to 10 days also get a lot of blister on my hand before I get the ID. Yes.
So with your dirty teeth and your bruised hands, you wanted to show that you were an uneducated farmhand.
Yes.
That's disgusting.
Yes. It was a very, very long story, and then my parents also don't have a house registration and don't have anything record. They don't understand actually.
Yeah.
So when I moved around a lot when I was a childhood. I had a lot of school and a lot of teachers, but I never finished my year. But one family, they really love me. They always wanted me to be their kid, like. And then I went back. He's actually a teacher, which is the villager really recognize him. He's a senior teacher. So I went back there if he can help me to get the ID card. And then he allowed me to use his house registration.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And then I got my ID card through his house registration, not my family. Until now, I'm not related with my family. Yeah,
Through
and it's
documents.
better. Yeah, it's better because they don't know what I'm doing and what I'm related. Sometimes I do things good, or sometimes, like depend on what people see you, and I don't want them to involve what because of me. So I think it's better. And then I also completely split up from my official family as well. I don't want them to have problems because of me. But I also don't do anything like illegal when I make people upset, or I'm just working on the supporting people like that. Yeah. That turned out shortly.
That's quite a story. It's quite a story. I'm holding some of the things you said and reflecting on that experience. I guess the first thing, you started this interview off by saying, ever since I can remember, I've been running all my life. And that's so devastating, and yet it's also, you're not alone. That I've spoken to so many ethnics, and particularly Karen, that their earliest memories are running from the ferocity and the tyranny of the might and the terror of the Burmese military.
Like my childhood is pretty tough, and running and surviving, and it's at the same time searching for education. Also, it's pretty step up for the life. And sometimes I have to walk like 2 hours to go to school some of the year, just alone, forest, me at a knife, and walking to the forest, so going to school. It's in between like that. It's just, like in the year from 1990, when I was 3 years until 14 years, there was a lot going on there. So I move around a lot. Seeing military for me is not it's scary, but I'm not really scared. I only scared where the bullet is, like the mortar or the rocket falling and stuff like that, because I grew up in a military area, so I'm very familiar with weapons. So I also we actually at the school, just to be surviving, we also get trained to be a army. We at the school, the current KNU are training the young people who you can prevent yourself. These are not. They ask the kid if anyone who interested to join. They are not forcing.
Right.
They are just asking like anyone who want to join the military training, and anyone can join. It's not about age.
Sure. Yeah. And what do they
I
teach?
remember I was about 12 at that time. Yeah. I'm 16, a little bit taller than me. the gun at that time, I remember. I get to use M16 at AK. Yeah, I learned pretty good that the weapon, those two. Yeah. I mean, my dad, he bring the weapon in the house. There's always guns. So we are very familiar playing. My dad even teach us how to break out, how to put things together. When you play, you take out the bullet, and then things like that. When we were already in a little child before the training, so I already get to learn the gun. But in the military, we get to learn more stuff like when you have see the landmine, how you technique like to take it off, like things like that.
The landmine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get to learn a lot of things. Yeah.
And you use the weapons in combat before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you share something about that?
In the military, when we were in the middle school, we were get trained, and then we also get to. In the end, we were graduated. We have to shoot the who can shoot better and stuff like that. So I get to use. I mean, I never have to go to war and stuff like that, but I do have family in the family to protect my family. We have gun. When if I see military come and attack my family again, I think I will probably use it, but it didn't happen anymore afterward. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But I go to military camp. I use very often. Yes, I like to shoot gun as well. Yeah.
Oh, why?
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
I like it because it's also become one of my sport. I think because since I see them very often, and it's not to be dangerous, but to be protected, and it's good to prevent yourself to practice. When things happen, that you have family around and friends, then you can protect people around you. I have never shoot anyone, but if I have to, I will do. Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with the Second Amendment in the U.S. Constitution in America, but it's very controversial because the Second Amendment is the right to bear arms, and this gives citizens the right to have to within certain restrictions in different states at different times they have a right to bear arms as they like, and this has led to a lot of criticism because sometimes these weapons are then used in mass shootings or school shootings, and so there's been some pushback in the United States to want to have tighter restrictions and maybe even to prevent to a greater degree access to arms. This is a political debate happening in one society, one place at one time, and Burma is a very different kind of story. But I wonder, as I think it'd be very interesting to hear your perspective of the life that you've led and what you've gone through. And especially as Burma's going through a revolution and transition now, and we're looking at what post-military Burma looks like. What are your thoughts on a post-Tatmadaw Burma, and looking at the right to bear arms? Do you think that's a right that every citizen should have in a new Myanmar?
In terms of a political perspective, I think for my believing is we don't need to have a new Burma. You know what I mean? Like we just need to have a new people, new leader, new idea, new constitution, where because this country Myanmar has everything, it's very rich country, and we have all the natural resources. So whatever we have, whatever the government, which generation, no matter what generation, they don't really develop and taking care of the civilian. They only taking care of their own military, their own people.
Right.
So for me, no matter what government come up, I really want them to see in their own people what capable inside and what we have, and to develop, to live as a, together, there's no war, I don't want to have war anymore in the country. It's just like living in the independent. Even the reconciliation, I don't know about even reconciliation. Why don't just we all live independently in the country, like getting independent and build something together. Firstly, you need people to educate young people. A lot of young people are very educated, but then the old people didn't give them opportunity to lead. So it's still kind of like old manner of the, old generation, and they don't listen to new idea. They only want to go on their own history. History is history. We don't need to follow this history, and we create better history, like for young people. So I for Myanmar in this day, I think if we continue having the military like this, and then the country will be ruined and never will be peace. It will be like this or worse.
Yeah, and this question of the right to bear arms, would you like to Do you think it's important that every citizen has the right to be able to arm themselves, buy a weapon, leave it in their home, or do you think that should be prevented?
No, this is not gonna be a peace country. So people really, because I think for the Korean people, they really want to do ceasefire already a long time, because as a Korean they also like see in the military that military are playing, no? So if they do according what they sign agreement, I think the civilian will be happy to work with them. But then they tell other people to do ceasefire, and then they are not doing ceasefire, and then they come they come and stay attack the place, and social media is not seeing everything because they don't like journalists, they don't want journalists discover all the true thing, and that's why the Korean also cannot let their weapon down. So they still have to hold their weapon even though they do ceasefire. So in terms of every ethnic need to keep their own arms or own weapon, I don't see that for my own personally feeling that we need to work to stay together. We don't need we don't need the every ethnic don't need to have their own army. Like just build something to be
A federal union?
Yeah, federal union, yeah.
Right. I also want to go back to the childhood, this sense of a boogeyman, and through a childhood lens, trying to understand what it was like to have this enemy that was always coming after you, and how to even understand as a child, why do they want to harm us? What did we do? Why are we always running from them? And I think as a child, it's often we don't have a sense of normalcy. Whatever our experiences as children, that's what's normal. And so, was that sense of running from an enemy who was always trying to harm you? Did that become normal?
It's not. It's very good question. So in our culture, in the child, when you are a child, you're not allowed to ask questions.
Sure.
So the older people will tell you that it's not your business. It's, you don't need to know everything. So I do make my own decision. That's another reason that I go back by myself. Like, things can happen. Military could kill me anytime because, like in 2002 when I go back and get my ID, my everything, I have never been in the central of Myanmar. I'm already 18, 19 years old. I also want to understand why I have to run all the time. Because for me, I don't give up my life easily, like, it's not just to go back and get my own identity. I also have other idea that I want to understand why they chase my family all the time. Why other people can stay in the village and why not us? The parents doesn't explain to you, and you have to find out by yourself. So basically, my sister and my brother, they never get to know why. They only follow the parent. For me, I need to understand. So when I went back, I'm trying to understand the political view, and there's like Korean National Union, and also like we have a military, we have like military want to take over the area, and they want to take this place and that place. There is no like agreement, they're not allowed to take over, so the Korean is protect Korean state and things like that. So trying to understand political background a little bit, and I get to understand. And also my dad, he also part of KNU. I don't feel sad. I was proud actually, because my dad also saved a lot of people's life in the area, and without the Korean military, and I think our area will be so poor now, and we will not have good natural resources, and the military will just share everything already, like, because we have very, very rich forests and stuff, and then where the nature area, and people can survive, indigenous people could survive just with this forest. Yeah, so I'm trying to understand a lot of things, but I don't feel sad. Actually, I I get to learn a lot afterward, like trying to realize the reality, what I have been through. But this is all a lesson learned for me. Yeah.
Another question with that is, emotionally, how did you come to look at not just the Burma army, but the Bamar people in general? I can't imagine myself being targeted and for so long, my family, my community, every single person I knew that was from my ethnicity living under that kind of terror, and just the hatred that I imagine I would have in that scenario, and how difficult it would. And I came to Myanmar to practice meditation, so that's been a part of my life. When just in my own personal story, when I meditate, it's the things that the emotions I can't let go of are the ones that come on strongly. This person wronged me, and this happened to me, and it was unfair. Really minor things that I've had to deal with, but still things I hold on to. So I think that if I was in a situation where some group had caused that immense level of harm, the burning fire of anger that would burn inside me, that had inspired that trauma, it would be a very hard thing for me to wrestle with and let go of. So I'm wondering how you've dealt with your emotions and perhaps anger for this persecution.
Not easy. I can tell you, I used to hate Burmese people a lot. I cannot see them. When I see them, I want to stab them. And when I remember when I was working for the NGO in Mesa in the same team, we also have a few Burmese people, and then I hate her so much, and then I'm also very competitive at that time, because you were young and you were just don't understand, you cannot control your emotional, and then like, she has so much opportunity to study. She go to proper school.
Right.
She go to university, and then I don't have to get to do this thing. I'm very competitive, and then I really hate her, and she don't understand, and of course she don't understand, and then she always afraid of me, that why I'm always upset, offended her, and then at that time I was also very young. And then I also told the office that I cannot see this person. Can you just hide her somewhere? And then because my boss, he understand my background.
Well,
And then I said, this is getting really bad and really dangerous. I said, you should hide her. I said, I cannot. And then I said, as soon as I see her, I want to stab her with a knife many times.
Wow.
This kind of anger coming many
Yeah.
times. But I realized that there's something going wrong with me. I need to cool down myself. And then and I told my office team that I need 1 week off. And then I just go to very far in the forest, like I go hiking. And then I went to temple. I spent time alone for 1 week in the jungle. And then just to clear my mind. And I came back, and then I accepted her somehow. It's not her fault. And then I trying to learn more. I trying to understand more about not all Burmese people are bad. So I try to accept more the reality. And maybe military are also, like killing and torturing their own people.
Yeah.
It's not just Quran.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to read more also, not just Quran. I also trying to understand other ethnicity. So at that time I was about 22, 23. Yeah, just trying to control myself, and I start changing at that time also. Yeah.
How these days with post 2021 coup, there's so much focus on the young generation of mental health and mental balance. This is something new in Burmese society, where these things are talked about as openly as they are. But what you're talking about in this incident of recognizing the mental imbalance and taking time off to be able to heal and let go of this murderous rage that was in you, how did you let this go? Like, was it through meditation or something faith-based?
Meditation, and also like I have to speak to, actually My Italian boss, he's very good mentor as well. You can talk to him anything. And then I have very good mentor, and then he also offered me whatever I feel something I should speak to him. And then I speak to him. I feel like this, like that. I think he also have a counselor. I think that the counselor, maybe he speak to that counselor how to talk to me or things like that. And then he talked to me, and then I find it, which is true, because it's not worth it, like this person doesn't know anything. Why do I step her? Like why I hate her, and then why I'm angry to her just because I'm hating the military doesn't mean that I have to hate other people. You know what I mean? And then he really cooled me down, but took me many days to every day. Even though I'm on the mountain hiking or meditate, I at least speak to him 1 hour a day. It's pretty helpful. Yeah.
So it sounds like it was a combination between speaking with a friend,
Yes.
therapy, meditation, being alone in nature, and I'm sure also an inner volition to want to move past this. Nothing happens without that inner will to want to grow.
Yes.
Yeah.
You need to have someone who understands situation, who can balance you things right and wrong. So I don't even know at that time there's also a counseling as exist, because we don't have it.
Sure.
So basically, my people that I'm working with, like my friend, they are pretty much my mentor, like because they are a lot older than me, and yeah.
And in having to overcome this pain and anger that's inside, this is coming from an interaction with a source that we can say is not just tyrannical, but is bordering on or is evil. This is an evil that you've confronted in the world. And I think that for many people listening, evil is something that many of us have more experience with in reading about history or certain atrocities that have taken place, picking up the news and seeing something, maybe some depiction in a movie or a documentary. But I think few of us have really encountered something for a prolonged period, truly evil, that has harmed our life and tried to harm our entire existence, put us out of existence in that kind of way. So more looking on a philosophical, a theological level of how would you describe the manifestation of this evil, if we can use that word, and your confrontation with it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not so easy to let it go, everything. It takes a lot of time to realize it, because, and another thing is to hold your anger, you have to think about your family situation. Like, if when you're talking to the let's say your friend who telling you things right and wrong, and you have to realize everything step by step, if things are worth it or not worth it. Maybe it's not good when you got upset, you make a decision, like you get angry and it just come down, and then you just maybe take your time. And I also do that, like until now, like I started from there until now. Whenever I feel something not very comfortable, I just say that I need some time, like that, and then I try to cool down, and then find a solution and start talking to the people who you trust. I think this is pretty much like how to control your anger or your emotional or something like that. Yeah.
Right. I think we've spoken to a number of analysts, authors, scholars who have commented, who've looked at the ongoing nature of the military's dominance in Myanmar and looked at the different economic, social, political situations that have led to the military's continued dominance and cancerous growth within Burmese society. But I want to ask you from a personal point of view, from a subjective point of view, in your perspective. You've seen this evil that the military represents, and it's not just been enacted in one or two incidences or atrocities, but it's been a sustained evil that has lasted over generations across the country, has taken many different forms, has continued decade after decade, generation after generation. Despite all the changes that happen, the evil still continues, and I'm using that word intentionally, still continues to exist in some form or another. And so I'm not asking you for an academic analysis, as we've spoken to others, but from a survivor's point of view, someone who's seen many fall victim to this evil. What in your subjective perspective would inform why and how this evil has been able to persist as long as it has?
Yeah, so this is a very long process, and I just want to start to talk about, I don't know if it's related with your question. In the year of 2014, it's my first time moving to Yangon, living in the big city. And also in central of Myanmar, where I have never been living before. I just want to see the people there, how their mentality, like reality, how they understand about the situation. So when I speak about the border situation, people don't listen to me. That they didn't accept. They didn't accept me. So this is also hurting me so much.
Yeah.
And they didn't recognize, and they were like, it's your own problem. You create problem. Because they have been brainwashed for decades. And this is how they have been teaching the kids in the wrong history in the school. Is not the right history what they have been learned. And so I'm not 100% supporting Aung San Suu Kyi, but after things they take over the country and he opened the country, and then a lot of people from state-led people, they went back to, they get their own identity. Like even my parents, they are over 60, 70 years old. That's the first time they get back their ID card.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And then my mom said, I'm nearly died. I don't need ID card. I say, yes, you still need ID card, because if you travel with me to Bagan, you fly with me, you will need your ID card.
Yeah.
So then it's make her change her mind. And I think I remember they get their house registration when the year was 2015 or 2016. Yes. And they have to force pretty much everyone to get their own identity. they have the first time the ID card. And anyway, so for me, I realized situation, I have a lot of anger, but I think I control my anger is quite well. And also, like, whenever I see a lot of people angry, has a different like a lot of people has same anger before. They want to kill, they want to stab, because that's what we have been growing up. We're not allowed to speak Burmese because we hate Burmese, and like that we if we speak Burmese, then the people will think that you are traitor or like that.
Wow.
So that's how we grew up when we were childhood. And a lot of people hate Burmese. And whenever you hear something like this, like a person like me, I always searching for opportunity when I can learn more and more, trying to understand. And then I can talk to those people who want to listen to me. People who don't want to listen to me, this is fine also. Some people who like to listen to me. And I already come back and show the example that not many people graduate high school with my situation. So that's already the step, that achievement, that I graduate high school with the running for 11 school, different school. So a lot of people listen to me, that how things I have been through and how I manage with my own emotional. It's not so easy, but somehow I have a lot of good people behind me, where they talk to me and I learn from them, and then I calm down like that. So like mental health is of course sometimes you have different emotional, you get angry, you get upset, you get you have feeling down or
Yeah.
you're happy like that. I don't know what the evil mean. Yeah, I have been. That's how I think the worst part that I have been through. Like there's a lot of evil in between. I couldn't explain how the evil can be worse. I would say that I survived many times. Yeah, that's how the evil sent to me. But this evil maybe make me strong as well. Yeah.
Right. So you moved to Yangon in 2014, but before that, you were living a very rural existence. And we've talked a lot about the trauma and the terror and the running, which rightly so dominated many of your early years. But we also don't want to reduce your life and your community's life to nothing but terror, trauma, victimization. We also want to talk about the culture, the humanity, the color, and especially I'm thinking of when we were speaking before this interview, you were giving me such amazing, colorful imagery of what village life was like. If we can somehow remove this terror and this persecution, but we've mentioned that if we can somehow put that aside from that conversation and talk about the experience of what your village life was like and how far it was from what we know as modernity and civilization. So if you could paint a picture of what it would be like or feel like for one of our listeners to come to that village, what they'd see and experience and what life was like when you were growing up.
When I was born, that village, I couldn't even say that it's a village. It's more like a farm area.
Right.
Like we don't have a hospital, we don't have a school. The only I remember is we have a small monastery. Like we have a few bamboo house.
So this was a Buddhist village?
Yes, Buddhist village, yeah. And most, nearly 100% people there living there are Karen. So only a few houses. And small village, and then you walk maybe 2-3 kilometers, and there's another village. We have Sham village, we have a Pa'o village, we have a Karen village. Even Karen, we have Po Karen and Sakor Karen, but we don't live very far. It's just like one small river and at the other side. People don't fight. They are just like Pa'o village, we have a vegetarian people. The whole village only eat vegetarian.
Really? I would like that place.
Yes. We create a lot of seasoning paste like tofu and stuff like that. So, and then there was Sham village and we have Moon village. So as I remember, when you go to the Gogore city, that's where Myanmar people are live in the small city. And all the ethnicity are living around there. As long as I remember, very small, one village to another, you have to walk very far because there's only forest at that time. There's no road, and you can only follow where the cow or the animal tray and stuff. And then for rainy season, we travel with it's actually the most flexible travel time was the rainy season because we can use the boat, can follow the river. That's the most flexible time in the rainy season, because one village to another village, we have water everywhere, and then we just take a boat and cross to go to another place. Yeah. For dry season, we use cow to what's that called, cart?
Yeah, bullock cart.
Yeah, bullock cart, and we use that to transport to travel for a long distance. Yeah. In these days, different, no? Yeah. At that time when Myanmar army came, they only walk and they use a potta, using villager to carry stuff. Yeah.
Right. You mentioned all the running that you had to do, and that's certainly no way to grow up. It's certainly no way to live. And however, that experience does take you into many different villages and many different communities and give you insights into the way many different people are living. And so what do you remember from that time on the run in terms of the experience you had of seeing many different villages and communities that you otherwise wouldn't have come in contact with?
I do have movie a lot. We have so much community. I think our family are pretty well known that for running away because of my dad. People know us everywhere in there. So when I grew up, for example, after I finished the high school and then I went back, no one recognized how I look. And even my auntie, my uncle, my family member in the village, they don't recognize me until I have to say that I'm the daughter of this dad, and then they would know because, and also the whole village they quite well know us, and also we have a lot of family like wanted to save my mom and my family. And people, of course, when you move around a lot, we don't have food, no, from beginning until you have to work 1 year and then you can grow your own veggie. So we have a lot of villagers who, like share their food with us. And with this sharing thing is also a part of the culture in the area because for Korean people, we don't believe we need to have a guest house. We need to have, whenever we have visitor, we offer them place to sleep. We offer them to the food. Like you don't need to buy for it. This is a part of the culture. So as already before, this also is nothing new for the villager. So we get a lot of food. People bring vegetable to us, even though we don't live nearby the other people, because we don't want other people are fed up just because of my family. But we get constantly good food from there. Of course, from beginning, people don't know us yet. We struggle because we live far away from other places, and sooner or later we get support from the villager a lot.
So basically you would go in from one community after the other, and once you made a connection there, you would have a place to sleep, you would have food to eat.
Yeah, food, yeah. And then with the food, we don't starve because we grew up in the forest. We know how to hunt. And this is another skill that I have. I know how to hunt in the forest. I know where to pick the food and how to cook and how to survive in the forest.
Tell us about that.
In the forest, when you live in the forest, there's everything there. You will not starve. There's plenty food there you can get.
Tell us, for example, how you survive in the forest. Tell us about how you hunt, what you hunt, how you prepare, where you go to gather food, what you learned about living off the forest.
In the forest, there's a lot. We live and then we grew up there, so we can make fire without having lighter. And we have a wood, we have bamboo, and bamboo you can survive with many ways. With you can use a vegetable, you can make a different if you know how to cook, and you can survive just with bamboo. You can make so many different ways. You can collect vegetable. There's a fish everywhere in the forest. Whenever there's a river, there's a plenty fish and crab or frog or whatever, snake, or we eat everything. So, and of course, if we hunt more, we have also sometimes deer and some wild pig and things like that. If you know how to hunt, you will never starve in the jungle, because this jungle is very rich at that time. We have everything. Like for a chicken, how's that called, that one? The chicken in the forest where they can fly.
And so you consider yourself a good hunter?
Yeah. Until now, I think I consider myself a hunter.
What tools and weapons would you use to hunt with?
I don't need much. I can just use if I have one knife with me, I can survive for a long time because you can, with a knife, you can make your own weapon in the jungle. You don't need much.
How would you make your own weapon?
You make a sharp bamboo where you can hunt. Yeah, I mean you cannot hunt like a big animal, but you can hunt a lot like fish, like small animal like that. Sometimes you don't even need to eat animal, but you have a lot of other plenty food in the jungle.
So can you tell us about how this would go? You would have a knife and you would use that knife to sharpen bamboo. You would then have a bamboo weapon. You can't have a big animal, but you can have small animals. What would be the hunting procedure for the different hunting procedure for the different kinds of animals, the different techniques you would use for the different animals you can then get with that bamboo weapon?
Day and night is different.
Tell us.
If we want to make a trap, we use we collect the string rope and from the jungle, and then we can make like with the thread and the bamboo stick we can make, and then we put the trap, and then at nighttime when the animal came, and then the next morning you have food, from the trap, and then sometimes there's so many ways you can make trap. You dig a hole. And then some animal falling in the hole, they cannot get out. And with fish, you have something sharp. You can just go like this, like frog. Frog, I mean, you can just catch with your hand. There's so many different animals. When we were a childhood, you don't need to spend hours catching your own food. So you get out somewhere, you already come back with plenty.
So that's a skill you learn in childhood, is how to catch a small, fast, wild animal.
Yeah. Even fish, you just go in the river and you get some rock and then you just smash, then you come back with a few fish. This we have very rich forest when we were childhood, I remember. Yeah.
What are the techniques you use to be able to capture those animals when you're hunting?
We eat a lot of fish. Actually, fish is like our main dish for the regular meal. We fish normally, it depends on how much the water. If it's less water, you just use our hand. And sometimes we use our clothes where two people hold like this and then one person come. We use so many ways, and sometimes for the small stream we block the river and then we throw away the other, and then there's a bunch of fish there. So there's so many techniques you can use. Yeah.
It's as I think about this living in very rural, wild, forested areas. The one memory that's coming to my mind is one time I stayed in a rural monastery in Burma, and the only way to take a bath was there was a very, very deep well, and you'd have to put the bucket deep down the well to pull the water up. And then you would use one bucket to wash you. And I was with two other Burmese men as we were wearing lungchis and showering. And the trick was that you had to, when the well was so deep and it was also kind of narrow, that you had to drop the bucket at the right angle to be able to get a full load of water. But then you had to pull the bucket up so that it didn't shake too much from side to side when it came up. And they would show me their technique and I would try it. And I swear that the most water I ever got in a bucket was about 25%. No matter what I did, no matter what technique I did, I could not get more. Either I would fill the bucket, but then I would lose it coming up, or I wouldn't fill the bucket and then it would come straight up. And so I was just aware that, and this is just one microcosm. I mean, even and washing my own clothes was another thing. I would watch the way that in rural places that Burmese would wash and clean their clothes. And I just, because I grew up with washing machines and I didn't have that knowledge. And so it's, so I'm just, well, for one thing, I'm a vegetarian, so I wouldn't do very good in wanting to capture and kill and cook wild animals to begin with. But I'm thinking that if me or someone like me were to come to your village and just hear all of these, everyone say, "Oh, it's so easy. You just do this, that." I think I would have the kind of experience experience like I had in pulling the water up the bucket. I'd be like, wait, what are you doing? How do you do it?
Well, you still have to do it because I think the situation changed a lot my childhood until now because after 1996 the military took over the whole border. They were destroying the whole natural resources, all the rich forests, the logging, and so we have my childhood. We never have water dry in the river.
Oh,
So in 1999, I came back the first time after I left for 96. I came back the first time I have seen the river has so little water. I was so sad. And all the tree, I saw all the logging, and when I come back. And so the village, I mean, my parents are living in the refugee camp for a long time. And the year of 2013, they went back to stay the village when I was born. So we still have a small land, which is like owned by my grandmother. So my grandmother still have a small property for the family where we can come back and build our house. So that's where my parents, they came back and had to relocate in that area. And for summertime, we do struggle. We don't have enough water. We have to drive with the tok-tok, the tractor to go carry the water from one place to another. And then in 2014, I told my sister that we need to dig a well from our land just to prepare because we don't have enough water. For the April and May, and the water has so little. And then I told my sister, there is technique where you have a lot of water. My sister said, what? And then I show her that what kind of tree she should to grow. And we have, and then I travel back from Mesot to the village. I bought the tree from the shop. I carry plant from Mesot to the village. They were growing, and sometimes I brought some seeds. And then they were growing some plant in there. And last year, 2-3 years now, we always have enough water. And we have so much water in our well. Of course, you still need to you still need to do. Now, especially now the gasoline is so expensive because I also bought a pump for them where they can pump the water. They have a water storage. But now the gasoline is so expensive. And my sister said, we have so much time now, we just do by hand. It's also exercise, no?
Yeah, it's definitely exercise. I want to go more into your childhood, growing up, more into the color of what life was like here. We've talked about the hunting and the meat that you would eat, but I also want to talk about the other ways that it's just such a beautiful description you gave that it's very easy to live in the forest. It gives you everything you need. So I want to go into some of those other things that you're able to get. I'm thinking like fruit and nuts and herbs. Can you share a bit about, you said if you know where to go, how to get, you can get everything. So beyond the meat, tell us a bit more of how you could sustain yourself in these forests.
So if you live in the forest where the place that you think that forest is where you can survive, because there's so many type of vegetable just growing around you. Even though if you are vegetarian, you will survive. There's so many fruit you can pick, you can eat, but you have to know that is it allowed to eat or not, because sometimes you get a little bit, poison from that. So there's so much, and I would say that we started because for the Korean people, we survive with rice, no? So without rice is our main dish. So for rice, you cannot get it right away when you are in the jungle. It takes time to grow. So that means wherever you go, you still need to prepare some rice for yourself to. For other things, you can just fill in like a curry or some dishes and like that. And you could survive when you have fish. When there's a river, there's fish. So for drinking water, you have so many mountain good water. If you don't have good water, and then you can boil them, and then you drink. And then you don't have pot to boil water, use the bamboo. Bamboo are everything. You can cook inside bamboo. You can make rice inside bamboo. You can do everything. You use a bamboo for a plate. And we never have I have not seen plastic when I was a child. We were eating with a bamboo bowl and then the leaf. And then whenever we saw, I remember when I was about 6-7 years old, I saw a plastic bag, and then we saved that plastic bag to come back and to cover the roof where there's a leaking, and then we use that one. We saved that plastic. Yeah, at that kind of level, you know, like when we were a child. And in this day, you realize that, oh, you have to pay money to to use this kind of paper, you know, like when you see a man weaving, you have to pay money to ask that person to teach you how to weave. For our childhood, we learn how to weave ourselves. We make our own clothes. And we don't buy. There's no money. There's no shop. Everyone do things by themselves. So you grow up in the forest. There's everything in there, starting from shampoo. You know, the skin of the tree you can use as a shampoo. The fruit you can use as a soap.
Oh.
Yeah, everything in there.
How do you use the shampoo and the soap?
Because there is a type of plant, the tree. You do the skin, you peel the skin.
The bark.
And the skin, it has a slip, like slime. And then for shampoo, we use also a fruit. You can use shampoo. I have not seen the shampoo we were using like for a long time. We only use the natural
Did you like it?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people has good hair and in the forest, yeah.
And making your own clothes, how did you do that?
We grow cotton. We have cotton. We make, the grandparents teach us how to weave. And with a bamboo stick, you sharp and then you make everything made handmade. Yes.
And then you talked a bit about how much fruit and vegetables there are, and that they grow wild, even the vegetables, but that you have to know what to eat that will be safe. And so tell us a bit about the types of veggies and fruit that are available freely to just go and pick, and then which ones do you want to avoid?
So there's a different season. You need to live according to the season. So this season, what kind of fruit and what kind of vegetable you can collect. And when you were a child, you follow your parents. The parent will teach you what to eat and what not to eat. What's the name. And this has become like our routine daily life. So we learn from our childhood, from our parents and grandparents. Yeah. So.
Yeah, go ahead.
And also mushroom. There's so many type of mushroom. So we eat a lot of different type of mushroom. But for my family, we only like the mushroom that we collect only where we like. So there are so many type of other mushroom. If we don't like, we don't collect. So we only like. Whenever we do farming, there's a tiny mushroom, like sometimes the mushroom will look like a pot, the orange one, like crunchy. And then we like, I don't know the name, but I can, there's a lot of picture where you can, they're so tasty and very expensive. In these days, where people sell 1 kg, 500-600, sometimes 1,000 baht for 1 kg. And we eat only a few, but we love it, yeah.
So you spend a lot of time foraging for mushrooms?
No, because in the forest, the mushroom growing in different season. Sometimes they grow even in your own garden. Yeah, you just need to wait when the season comes.
Right.
We don't need to spend a lot of time to search for food.
Oh, right. How about herbs?
Those are there's also, a lot. When you cooking, you go in the forest. Oh, this leaf is sour. And this leaf, you have a chili, you have a leaf, and you know the taste already, what you want to cook. If you cook this one, will go together with this leaf, with that leaf. Yeah. Of course, we have a salt with us always when we travel, like we carry a little salt. That's the main. And for cooking oil, we make our like soybean or the the peanut oil or sesame oil, and we always have some this kind of stuff.
Where do you get the salt?
I mean, when we were in the village, there's we can buy a little salt, or the villager brought us some salt. Yeah.
Right. And how about medicine?
We have no medicine. We get treated with the natural medicine.
Tell us about natural medicine.
Natural medicine, there's pretty much a lot of roots, a lot of plant and leaf, where you, even in this day when you walk, I got some scratch on my leg and stuff. I just pick some leaf and then I make some liquid and then I treat my skin like that. It's pretty, even, like chili leaf. Chili leaf is very good to when you put it, apply on. It's very good to stop when you have a inflammation. The yellow liquid, what's that called?
Pus.
When you have infected your skin, there's a yellow liquid inside. It's very painful, and it's very good to apply that to stop the inflammation, not to grow bigger like that. Even only chili leaf, no. So we have a lot of like different leaf and different medicine, and like bitternut leaf also is like when you cough, you drink the tea, the water, and it's reduce a lot of and then when you have diarrhea, we have a guava leaf and stuff like that. Yeah, when we were born, we don't see any medicine. We only have the root and the skin of the fruit and vegetable and things like that. Yeah.
How about dangerous animals that are in the wild? Do you encounter elephants, tigers?
I mean, for tiger, we have very little in our area. There's some. But elephant, we see quite a lot. But when in the forest, because elephants are very noisy, no? When they come, before they arrive, you can hear that they destroy and then when they can smell human, no? They are also very smart. When they smell the human, they don't come anymore. They go away. Also, because there's also a lot of other hunter. So when they smell human, they don't come close to us. They are also very smart. They have a very smart sense. Yeah.
Have you had any dangerous encounters with some of these wild animals?
In my childhood, I don't see any like dangerous. I mean, fox. I have seen fox, but I think I haven't. And then they run away. They don't come and bite me. And we see a lot of deer. A lot of. I think the most dangerous is like what's that called? Cobra. Yeah, I mean snakes are everywhere. Yeah. Until now, I when I go hiking, I still see a lot of snakes.
You're not scared of snakes?
No.
Have you been bitten?
No, never. But I have been bitten many times. Scorpion and millipede, not millipede, centipede.
Yeah.
Painful, yeah. Yeah. Snakes is not my kind of scary thing, because snakes, when they see human, they run away.
Is there anything that is scary to you in the jungle, in the forest? No.
Nothing.
Nothing. Never
Nothing.
fear.
No.
Yeah. How about encounters with supernatural beings or spiritual experiences?
A lot of people are scared of ghosts and stuff. I never scared of ghosts. I walk around the whole forest by myself, things like that, and it doesn't have in my head.
Have you had any of those encounters? Right. No. Yeah, because I know many people living in the forest have talk about a spiritual connection they have with the invisible beings, and
I mean, I believe in my family are enemies, so we respect the forest. No matter where we go, where we sit, there's an owner there, which you cannot see. You have to respect them. For me, when I go in the forest, before I eat, I always offer my food to the spirit first, and then blessing my day, that please look after me, like I'm here alone as a child, and if I see anything dangerous, please save me, like just like that, I never see anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Was there any fear of landmines when you were growing up? I know that they're everywhere now, but at the place and the time when you were, was that something you had to be cautious with?
Because the time when my childhood, we were living there, the military has not been discovered the area yet. It's only KNU control area. So the KNU control area, they know where they don't have many enemy at that time, unless the military come. So after 1996, when they take over the area, I remember I have seen myself, because and we run for like 3-4 days to the border, and then we run our food. We have to go back and get our food in the village, and then the military put the landmine into our food store.
Wow.
So a lot of villagers got victim. They lost their arm, they lost their eyes, and a lot of them step on the landmine, they lose their leg, and so this one I have seen by myself. Yeah.
And was that a fear you had?
In my food store, there's a landmine. But for me, since I have been in the military train, I warn my family. This is another skill you have, and you need to use, and you don't remember, you don't forget, and things can happen like this. And I warn my sister, and before you touch anything, just stay away, and then trying to throw a rock or a stone, and then until things explode, and then you take it.
And you've done that before?
Yeah.
So you throw a rock, you're 6 paces down on a path, you see something that doesn't look right, and you throw rocks until it explodes. Yeah. That's very scary.
Yes, very scary. And also I told my sister, because my sister and me, the oldest in the family at that time, my brother's not around, and my dad is in his military base, and then I have to use the skill many times, that I told my sister that let's break down the food store, because the food store, we have a pole. If we break down, everything fall down. If there's a landmine, it will be explode. Like we break down the food store, and then we collect the food which is lying on the floor, and many times.
Right. You mentioned how later on in your story, you mentioned your practice of Buddhist meditation and how that was helpful for letting go of some anger that you had developed. I'm wondering where you learned that Buddhist meditation. What kind of meditation did you do exactly? Was it a particular tradition or technique, and where did you learn it?
Because when we were young, I believe, because, like the monk saved our life many times in the monastery. And I know the monastery saved my brother, and then they also give us food from. There's so many times that we run without food, and the monastery, and we don't have time to cook, because monastery has always spare food which is already ready to eat. So they give us so many times the food that we can survive from them. And then I also curious that I wanted to learn to understand what was why we have a monk, why we have Buddhists, and the religion things. So when you are young age, you don't see a lot of different choices. You just want to understand everything, and you follow your parents, because my parents also, they are Buddhists. The whole village like believing in the Buddhism. They go and they pray whenever the full moon and the activities, and whenever they have a meditation and so on. I really like, it's so quiet, and they have meditation center like in the forest. Sometimes that people just go there, they sit and so on, and We have sometimes yeti. We call yeti, the monk who has a long hair.
Yeah.
And they only eat fruit. They don't eat other things. So I also deal with that. And I eat fruit like the whole week and like that. A lot of banana. Yes. And I like it, yeah.
So what meditation techniques or traditions did you come to learn?
To pretty much understand about your mindset, and then I don't find it to be believing in the strong religion. It's just like believing, understand yourself, which part of your body and what control you, which part is make you good, feeling better, like whenever you touch your body and just trying to learn about the different pieces about your whole body, because there's a lot to understand about every small corner of your body. Yeah.
Was there a particular tradition that you followed?
No. No.
Yeah.
It's just a child. I just try to do so many things. Religious is not my stronger thing. So,
Right.
yeah.
So you mentioned that you came to live in Yangon in 2014, and I think by now, and 2014 is right as the transition is really, it's already underway, but then 2015, the floodgates open, and I think by now listeners have a very profound understanding of just how unique your jungle life was and this rural existence. And so describe what it was like being in the heart of a bustling Burmese city after a childhood and adolescence of something very different.
Well, I think Yangon, the only thing pulled me to stay there because of my husband. Because my husband, he started the business there. And but from beginning, I realized that I don't like the city. Then I travel all the time. I went down to the south. I took the job. I work for nature conservation, which is my thing. I live in the jungle for many months, and there's things that I get to see the real wild animal, like the dangerous animal, like that. Like tigers and stuff like that. Yeah, that's very I always call it rainforest. Like you have all those sort of the rhino. You never get to see rhino when you're a child. Only you get this one. You get to see the rhino. You get to see a bunch of elephant with the baby. I mean, we put the camera trap and then we see them. We don't go very close.
Yeah.
So yeah, I travel a lot, and Yangon is not pulling me and staying there. But then I have a child in 2016. That's the only reason that stay with the family and learn how to create your family boundary. So this is totally a different type of life that I didn't expect to have. But somehow, like, it's everything when you learn about is about experience. Like you get to learn and you achieve. After you achieve, I mean, everything you do, there's a problem, yeah. And then when you achieve, and then you feel happy and you're satisfied, and yeah, when you have child, you don't have a lot of options, so you have to follow that.
In seeing the way that your child is being raised and their surroundings, it must make you reflect sometimes about how different your childhood was.
Totally different. Yes, my childhood and my son's childhood, because I mean, he do understand about my. He understand like Karen, and we visit also Mesa. He have seen the other family member. He went to the border, how the people are living. He has been in the village as well. So, but for him growing up, like with the school, with what he has, and cannot compare, like toys and stuff. Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
I feel very happy that I managed to support him, and he has the life that he don't need to face the same like me, and he can focus on his own developing, and whenever he achieves, then he can come back help other people when he grow up like that.
Mm. So now that you've been away from this jungle life for so long in Karen State and just all the reminiscence of it now and reflecting back and all this detail, uh, when you went to Yangon and then in the later years, what did you, and thinking about it now, what do you miss about it? What stands out?
Oh, I always miss the jungle.
Yeah.
My village, I don't have anything like no water, no electricity. I always enjoy to be there. I just wish that I don't have to work and earn money, like
Mm,
because my family rely on me. I'm the only person where I work and
mm,
could earn and support the whole family.
mm,
So if I don't have to work and to find money, I think I could go back, like develop the whole area where we can really make
mm,
something different with my experience, with my
sure.
things that I can do.
Mm,
But since I also need to work and get in some financial and to support the family until make sure that everyone have food to eat. So it's not like a big issue, but at least making everyone have food to eat, that's good enough. Yeah.
mm. What stands out that you really miss from that jungle life that you don't have now that you'd like to experience again?
I really like getting food in the forest,
Mm,
you
hmm
know what you are eating.
mm,
And you really know what you are eating, where that come from. That's I miss the most. Because in nowadays I live in the city, I don't know what I'm eating.
oh,
Where these foods are come from, what
yeah,
they have been treated this
yeah,
food,
yeah.
like and there's in this day there's so many chemical and I don't know what our body is look like. I don't trust my body anymore. Sometimes we are really don't know what we are eating basically. Yeah, I don't. If I compare my body in the village and the city,
Mm,
village body are healthier than us because they know
mm,
what they are eating. They know where this food are come
mm,
from. They
mm,
know what they are cooking. And we don't know.
mm. And it sounds like as well that the kind of rural village existence you're talking about, it sounds like it's basically a cashless society. Is that right?
Mm, yeah.
Yeah. So what's it like living without money and then living with everything?
Basically, you could survive without money in the village
Mm,
because you grow your own animal. You have your own chicken,
mm,
your own your own vegetable. If you are vegetarian,
mhm,
you have all those land with the good fertilizing. You can
mm,
grow all sort of vegetable what you like to eat, and this is something that you don't need money there. For example, I send money home very little and they can survive, they can live very well.
mm,
And they don't need it. They only need to buy sometimes where they run out the salt or cooking
mm,
oil. Even onion they grow by themselves,
mm,
like garlic and everything pretty much. If you have a land,
mm,
you can survive.
mm, mm. Right. Yeah, that must be very different being in a society where you can't do anything without cash.
Yes, very different. Like my mom, she couldn't stay here in Chiang Mai.
Mm,
She couldn't live here for 1 month. She would get so depressed because she doesn't have space to work because that's how she growing out and she need a place. She need a land where she can
mm,
grow her own food.
mm,
She doesn't know how to cook with the gas,
mm,
with the cooking electric things. He only cook with either charcoal or the wood.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
Right. I realized one thing I forgot to ask you in learning about this rural village life is insects. There must be so many insects, right?
There's so much insect, but I like mosquito, like flies and so on. There's a lot, but you can treat them because for mosquito, I think it's everywhere. When you sleep, you have mosquito net, and then because you have a lemongrass, like you grow a lot of lemongrass, and
Hmm
you can chase a lot of different animal. Yeah,
mm
I think insect is doesn't bother us
mm
anyway.
Right. So let's move on now to more current times. It's so wonderful having this backdrop of the life that you came from, the self-sufficiency, and how you then grew out of it, again, to break this harmonious, beautiful picture that you've set for us with the cold, harsh reality of always being on the run because the murderous Burma army is always after you and is causing destruction, not just to you and your family, but to entire communities that are here. You described in the first part of this discussion how you went from here to there to here, and how then you knew 5 languages, so it kind of kept moving on. You went to Mesot, and then from there Yangon, and then you were based in Yangon, but you were doing things throughout the country. So update us on your journey and talk about what you were doing 2020, 2021, and then as the coup broke, how that shifted in your ongoing evolution.
So after my child was born, and me and my husband, we ran a small business in Yangon. We renovated old colonial apartment, and then I could stay with my son, and we rent out our apartment to the expat. And the business running still until COVID, and so are running very well. But when the coup start, and when the electricity and water doesn't supply normally anymore, so, and also situations getting intense, and then our tenants not feeling safe to be there anymore,
Sure.
and also a lot of NGO or the embassy staff, they have to leave the country, so and it's not worth it to continue renting, so we just keep it our property like that. Maybe one day we can operate again, and as long as we are healthy, we are still safe. That's the most important. And we stayed there after the coup, and then I mean throughout the whole year we were staying there. And my husband is from Italy, so the Italian embassy call, write email every day like, you need to leave. And yeah, of course, my husband, he invested everything in his work and his life. He has a big team, his staff, and so on. He can leave it because, the staff that he has also part of in his family, like they have been working for a long time. When he leave, he doesn't know what's gonna happen with the staff, and they don't have work to do. He trying to operate as much as he can, even though he doesn't make a lot of money, but he just keep them to get some money where they can survive to support their family. Then in 2022, and then we realized that our son need to go to proper school. He's 26, and then it's not safe for him to stay there because the bomb was exploding everywhere in the road, on the city. It's not safe for him to be on the road. And then we decided to move to Chiang Mai, where it doesn't matter where. We didn't think that from beginning to come to Chiang Mai, wherever we have. First, we wanted to be in Mesot because then we can, with my skill, with the area already familiar, I wanted to work there, to stay there when I can also support more people. But unfortunately, there's no school where they can give us a visa. There's no international school there. There's a one, but they only have until kindergarten. So my son, it has to be in primary, so it's not possible. Then we decide to come to Chiang Mai in the end. And then I joined Exile Hub in 2022 September. Yeah. Well, with the Exile Hub, I mean, when I first joined the team, and then I don't have the background of the journalist and human rights defender background, but I have learned so much from the throughout the whole time, and like learning by doing. That's what I'm gonna say. And also give me so much flexibility. I can be with my son, and I can work, and then they give me so much free time when I can learn. I can be with my son, and then also helping the team. That since I'm also speaking the language here, I understand the area. So I'm mostly working from beginning with the admin. Like I'm doing a lot of like paperwork and stuff. And then I could help the fellow where they can access where to get a document, like legal paper and stuff like that. And also the later on, of course, the project is getting more and more, like we grow bigger with the team. And we have also fellow, like a lot of people also flee and coming, arrive in the border. And then the people accessing a lot of needs. So we try to help as much as we can with the emergency support to support the journalists who facing in the critical situation, and also the HRD. And not just that, some of them are, the one family is, some of them are journalists. In one family, one is HRD, one is humanitarian. So when they come together, we can't really split them, so they have to be together.
Right.
No matter what, the criteria is not the main thing anymore. So the most important is they get some support and they can be safe to live here. Yeah. We try to help them as much as we can. Yeah.
Right. What are your thoughts about the coup and the aftermath? And I say that with the backdrop of someone, again, referencing your story, you've been on the run since the beginning from this same Burma army that's doing the same thing they've been doing for all of your life and a lot longer before that. So as you're watching this, does this feel like the same old story? Do you have some optimism or some thought about the future? But what's your what are you thinking and feeling as an observer?
When the coup take over the country, I feel so sorry about the whole civilian, the whole country. That's one part. And another part is, and I fear that the whole country is also wake up.
Yeah.
And they can see that how military is, cruel to the people, to the ethnic, not just ethnic, and now they even come with their own people.
Yeah.
So that is also one thing, it make me that people wake up. But it's very sad seeing a lot of young people are losing their life and they fight and they don't give up, and same as us. And as I have an opportunity to support and to help them, I try my exact help is try our best, like to make sure that whenever people are come and then they access some of the needs that they are looking for. Yeah. Yeah. So the good thing that people wake up whenever the country need to, like to grow again, and they see which way is needs to go back together, like not just Burmese, not just Karen, not just Shan, not just Arakan, not just Rohingya or whatever. People can be together. It's not about what ethnic you are. You need to live together. That's my dream.
So do you feel that this same old story that's been repeating itself so many generations in Burma and throughout your life, do you feel that this has the potentiality of finally being a new chapter and a new page in that story?
Yes. Finally, like, I see myself that we can be together, like we are not part of just Korea anymore. We are part of the whole Myanmar citizenship. As a Myanmar, as a Korean, as Shan, as a Muslim, or as a whatever what color you like, it really doesn't matter. Yeah.
That would be an amazing new future.
Yes.
Yeah,
I would really wish we have some new young leader who, if they would have opportunity to create a new country, and they see this as the first step that make every color of human being to be together, not separate them because of their color.
So you're optimistic.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I know for a lot of podcast listeners, as soon as the fundraising requests start up, you just kind of zone out or skip ahead till it's over. But I ask that if you're taking the time to listen to our full podcast, that you also take the time to consider our spiel. Some may assume that producing a 2-hour episode wouldn't take much more than the conversation itself. But so much more goes into it. In advance of the interview, our content team reviews the biography and relevant works of the upcoming guests, and we discuss the best way to use our limited time together. After the interview is completed, the raw audio file is sent to our sound engineer who shapes it into working order. A single episode can take several full days of solid production work in the studio, which is carefully coordinated with our content team to ensure smooth listening. Further edits and post-production magic bring the eventual episode into your ears, along with extensive written descriptions of each interview, which we publish on our blog and social media. Many of these steps require an outlay of funds in some way or another. We hope that each episode informs you about the ongoing crisis, and if you find it of value, we also hope that you might consider supporting our mission. If you would like to join in our mission to support those in Myanmar who are being impacted by the military coup, we welcome your contribution in any form, currency, or transfer method. Your donation will go on to support a wide range of humanitarian and media missions, aiding those local communities who need it most. Donations are directed to such causes as the Civil Disobedience Movement, CDM, families of deceased victims, internally displaced person IDP camps, food for impoverished communities, military defection campaigns, undercover journalists, refugee camps, monasteries and nunneries, education initiatives, the purchasing of protective equipment and medical supplies, COVID relief, and more. We also make sure that our donation fund supports a diverse range of religious and ethnic groups across the country. We invite you to visit our website to learn more about past projects as well as upcoming needs. You can give a general donation or earmark your contribution to a specific activity or project you would like to support, perhaps even something you heard about in this very episode. All of this humanitarian work is carried out by our nonprofit mission, Better Burma. Any donation you give on our Insight Myanmar website is directed towards this fund. Alternatively, you can also visit the Better Burma website, betterburma.org, and donate directly there. In either case, your donation goes to the same cause in both websites except credit card. You can also give via PayPal by going to paypal.me/betterburma. Additionally, we can take donations through Patreon, Venmo, GoFundMe, and Cash App. Simply search Better Burma on each platform and you'll find our account. You can also visit either website for specific links to these respective accounts or email us at info@betterburma.org. That's Better Burma, one word, spelled BETTERBURMA.org. If you would like to give it another way, please contact us. We also invite you to check out our range of handicrafts that are sourced from vulnerable artisan communities across Myanmar, available at alokacrafts.com. Any purchase will not only support these artisan communities, but also our nonprofit's wider mission. That's Aloka Crafts, spelled ALOKACRAFTS, one word, alokacrafts.com. Thank you so much for your kind consideration and support.
Hoba yarananda dayananga yaranaya dayanam poda yaranam